Some people don't yell when they're hurt. They don't argue. They don't post about it. They don't send long emotional messages. They just become quiet. If that's you, you already know what this feels like. Something hurts you deeply, but instead of reacting, you shut down. You answer with short replies. You say, "It's fine," when it's not. You act normal, even though your chest feels heavy. Staying quiet when you're hurt doesn't mean you don't care. Most of the time, it means you care too much. When someone hurts you, your body reacts before your mind does. Your heart beats faster. Your thoughts race. You feel heat in your chest or tightness in your throat. Some people respond by fighting back. Some cry. Some explain themselves over and over. But others go silent. Silence is often a form of protection. You've probably learned that expressing your pain doesn't always make things better. Maybe when you spoke up before, you were told you were too sensitive. Maybe your feelings were ignored. Maybe your vulnerability was used against you later. Over time, your brain connects speaking up with more pain, so it chooses the safer option. It chooses quiet. For many people, staying quiet is not about weakness. It's about avoiding more damage. You think, if I don't say anything, I won't make it worse. You tell yourself it's better to stay calm than to lose control. You convince yourself that silence is maturity. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's unspoken sadness. Another reason people stay quiet when hurt is pride, not toxic pride. Protective pride. You don't want to beg someone to treat you right. You don't want to explain why basic respect matters. You don't want to chase someone for an apology. So instead of asking, you pull back. Instead of arguing, you observe. Instead of confronting, you create distance. You start watching how they act without your effort. You stop trying as much. You give the same energy you receive, and slowly you detach. Silence can also come from emotional exhaustion. When you've explained yourself too many times, you get tired. When you've tried to fix things again and again, you lose the energy to keep talking. At some point, it feels pointless. So you think, what's the use? And that's when you become quiet. Some people are quiet when hurt, because they don't fully understand their own feelings yet. They know something feels wrong, but they can't put it into words. So instead of saying the wrong thing, they say nothing. They need time to process. Not everyone can respond immediately with clarity. Some people need space to think before they speak. Their silence isn't coldness, it's processing. There's also fear behind quiet behavior. Fear of conflict. Fear of rejection. Fear of being abandoned. If you grew up in an environment where conflict led to punishment, yelling, or emotional withdrawal, your brain learned to stay small and quiet during pain. You learned that silence keeps the peace, even if that peace costs you your voice. Sometimes staying quiet is about control. When you're hurt, emotions can feel overwhelming. If you speak while angry or deeply sad, you might say something you regret. So you choose silence to avoid making things worse. You hold it in, you wait. You try to calm down before reacting. That's emotional regulation, and that can be healthy. But here's the deeper part of the psychology. People who stay quiet when hurt often have high emotional awareness. They notice small changes in tone. They feel shifts in energy. They pick up on disrespect that others might ignore. They feel everything deeply, but they don't always show it. They observe more than they speak. And when they finally go silent, it usually means something inside them has changed. Because quiet people don't always warn you when they're about to detach. They slowly stop sharing personal thoughts. They stop opening up. They stop arguing back. They stop correcting you. They stop trying to fix misunderstandings. And one day you realize they're not just quiet. They're done. This is why silence can be dangerous in relationships. Not because it's aggressive, but because it can mean someone is emotionally leaving without announcing it. When hurt keeps happening and nothing changes, silence turns into distance, and distance turns into detachment. However, staying quiet isn't always negative. Sometimes it shows strength. It shows you don't need to react to everything. It shows you understand that not every situation deserves your energy. It shows self-control. Not every battle needs your voice. But here's the important balance. If you always stay quiet, even when something truly matters, your emotions don't disappear. They stay inside. They build up. They turn into resentment. And resentment slowly changes how you see people. You might start acting colder, more distant, less open. Not because you want to, but because you've trained yourself to hide pain instead of express it. And over time, that can make you feel lonely, even around people. There's a difference between healthy silence and suppressed pain. Healthy silence is when you choose not to react, because you've processed your emotions and decided it's not worth your energy. Suppressed pain is when you stay quiet, because you're afraid your feelings won't be respected. One is strength. The other is fear. If you relate to staying quiet when you're hurt, ask yourself one question. Are you protecting your peace, or are you protecting yourself from rejection? That question changes everything. Sometimes silence is powerful. Walking away without explaining yourself can be a strong boundary. Not chasing someone who hurt you can be self-respect. Not arguing with someone who refuses to understand you can be maturity. But sometimes, speaking up is the real strength. It takes courage to say, "That hurt me." It takes confidence to say, "I deserve better." It takes emotional security to express pain calmly, instead of pretending it doesn't exist. The psychology of staying quiet when you're hurt is not about being weak or strong. It's about safety. Your brain is always trying to keep you safe. If silence has kept you safe before, it will keep choosing it. But growth means learning when to use your voice too. The healthiest people know when to stay quiet and when to speak. They don't explode at small things, but they also don't ignore big ones. They don't overreact, but they also don't suppress. They communicate clearly without begging. They express feelings without attacking. That balance is emotional maturity. If you're someone who goes quiet when hurt, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you've learned to survive emotionally in your own way. You are not dramatic. You are not cold. You are not weak. You are careful. You are observant. You are protecting your heart. Just make sure that in protecting your heart, you're not silencing it completely, because your feelings matter. Your voice matters, and the right people won't punish you for using it. Sometimes silence is a boundary. Sometimes it's healing, and sometimes it's a sign that you've already started letting go. If this felt familiar, maybe it's time to reflect. Not on why you stay quiet, but on who makes you feel like you have to. And that's the real psychology behind staying quiet when you're hurt.